and welcome back to another episode of Carolina Boys Sportscast. This is your host, Jolly J, along with your co-host, Sea Dog. How's it going tonight, Sea Dog?
How's it going? How's it
Good, good. We're going to go ahead and start off talking about tonight's episode of college football for Week 11. We're almost done, so it's sad but true. So far, everything's looking like it's staying on course for the rest of the team for the top five, but go ahead and talk about Cincinnati, ranked number 3 right now. Huh?
going? Rank number 3.
Yes, yes.
Last time I checked in the standings, homie, let's see. They dropped.
They dropped.
They ain't it, as the playoff rankings, I mean, they still number 3 in the top 25, but as a college football playoff rankings.
Yeah, and on the playoffs they're not doing that well right now. Yeah, for so far it's not looking good for them right now. Like for some reason Cincinnati keeps getting the boot.
Since it's, we're talking about week 11, my dog's still number 1. They've been leading number 1 ever since the beginning of the season. Right now we got a 10-0 record compared to everybody else besides Cincinnati. Cincinnati and UTSA and everybody else we're really the only top undefeated teams right now. But we only got 2 games left. I always talk about dogs because I'm a dog fan. We got Charleston Southern this weekend, and then we go down to Atlanta, which really ain't even an away game. It might as well be a home game, but we'll play old Georgia Tech, and then we got a rest, and then we'll be back in Atlanta again for the SEC championship.
Yeah, but for rankings you got of course Georgia at number 1, Alabama at number 2, and Cincinnati number 3. But I realize that Cincinnati keeps getting the boot. Alabama being 9-1, and then Cincinnati still undefeated. Like so far, I think in the top 5, they're the only undefeated team is Cincinnati and Georgia. The rest of the top 5 is 9-1.
But right now, like I said, the playoffs thinking, college football playoff rankings, you got it as number 1 Georgia, number 2 Alabama, number 4 Ohio State, and number 3 Oregon, and then you got Cincinnati, Michigan, and Michigan State. Outside looking in, it all depends on basically how this week and next week games goes for each team. Anyway, like if Alabama was take a hard hit from Arkansas and lose to Arkansas, they might jump out of the picture. And again, they might be in the picture to be like a 2-loss team and still going to the SEC championship if Arkansas or Auburn can knock them out. If Auburn beats them, it'll be Auburn in the SEC championship versus Georgia, which I have that feeling that it's going to be Auburn again. I did have that feeling until Bo Nix went out with an injury. Maybe the backup quarterback can do it. Don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, this college football season has been interesting so far. It's really sad that football is coming to an end right now for college, but then you have the playoffs. Very exciting, but Cincinnati, I really hope they come through. They basically blew out South Florida in this game, and then you got Alabama. They definitely blew out that game, so 59-3 for theirs, and then also you had Georgia, which was of course it looks like in the first beginning of the first half. I'm gonna look at it real quick. You had the first half, Georgia. Well, actually, the first quarter Georgia was just struggling. The rest of it they was not. So I wouldn't say the first half for sure, but like Tennessee was they had 10 points compared to Georgia 7 in the first quarter, and then they kind of lost it in the second quarter, and then that was kind of for the rest. But it's 41-17. Like everybody was getting shocked a little bit. Everybody was on, like, I guess everybody was blowing up on social media about
how trash they were doing. Yeah, I mean, I think that's I was kind of worried about that game too. I mean, it was giving me a damn heart attack, but I think what it was Georgia because I mean it's Neyland Stadium. That's one of the toughest stadiums to play in, and loudest. It's one of the best stadiums to play in besides Tuscaloosa. But I mean that game. I think what it was doing it was just Georgia filling out Tennessee's offense.
Yeah, that probably shell shocked him a little bit of things of. Oh wait, never mind. I had a feeling Georgia was gonna figure it out, and they figured it out by the second quarter, and they put up 17 points compared to Tennessee 0. But also you got for one of the top 5 teams, you got Oregon. That was a pretty close game against Washington State. So I'll say I'll say it looks like some of the top 5 teams are a little bit tough against these smaller schools. Like no offense to Washington State, but it looks like Washington State put up a good fight against them. So
Yeah, just like I was reading earlier, that the college football playoff chair basically the higher people up was kind of giving praises to Georgia's offense. Like I said, they may have struggled a little bit, but that go back to that Tennessee game. Our running back, James Cook, Dalvin Cook's baby brother. It was his show. I mean that's what it was all highlighted been all week after that game. And it's been the James Cook show. He had a kit took like 10 carries for 104 yards, 2 touchdowns. 3 catches for like 43 yards, and they're scoring through the air. The offense is like top 15 in scoring, but they're always blowing out everybody. They're always putting up double points. No matter who they play, they always put up double points. Going towards the end, it's like they'll start off slow and then just basically cruise to the rest of the game and hold the pedal down. I mean, in a case like that, it's Georgia's year. I can say that as long as they don't choke in the SEC championship or in the Natty. But I mean, like all the other teams are good. Michigan. That was a good game. Michigan State had good games. Cincinnati has some good games, but and
yeah,
again, I can't see nobody
and
else smashing Georgia.
the Buckeyes. Purdue put up some points against them. Like it.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of opens up your eyes. I know, like a lot of these like a lot of schools you don't hear about, they're actually putting a lot of points against these top 5 teams. It kind of makes you a little bit wondered about everything what's going on and stuff. But yeah, it was a 59-31 Buckeyes top number 5. So I'll say the first 2 quarters the Buckeyes had it, and then the second half they only put up 7 points each quarter. So, but C.J. Stroud he was phenomenal that game. 31 completions, 38 attempts, 361 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He had a pretty solid game. And yeah, comparing quarterbacks to that is I would say Aiden O'Connell, he did pretty good too. 40 completions out of 40 attempts, and he put almost 400 yards and then 4 touchdowns. And then so I would say that Purdue quarterback does a great job, O'Connell. So I would say that was awesome. But since I'm gonna go ahead and talk about Clemson. Here we go.
Trash.
Well, like no one's expecting much from Clemson anymore. We're just gonna be on the block of just playing football. So,
I mean, y'all might be going. I guess y'all might come back for redemption. I guess you can say. If y'all can just win out the rest of y'all games to possibly go into the ACC championship, if y'all can win out.
yeah, they're facing Wake Forest, but right now for the ACC, Clemson's in the top. They're ranked number 2 right now in the ACC underneath Wake Forest. So it depends on this game here, actually, of between Wake Forest and Clemson to determine the ACC Atlantic right now. So far for conference, either way, actually, I don't really call it for that yet. But the conference, Wake Forest is 6-0 in the conference, and then Clemson's 5-2. But think about it: you're knocking out the number 1 in the ACC Atlantic. That's your spot, right? That's how it kind of works out a little bit, But if Clemson can knock off Wake Forest, I say they'll have a good chance of going to the ACC championship and possibly a bowl game. But that's to me that's probably about it. But of course I feel like Notre Dame is going to do pretty good. Michigan State. I feel like they're going to give a lot of these teams to do a lot of pain, of course. But my really hopefuls is Cincinnati. I've been pushing Cincinnati for like forever right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like Cincinnati put up a good fight against Georgia. That's my predictions. The end's going to be Cincinnati and Georgia.
I mean, if you go back to the start of 2021 for the New Year's, it was already Cincinnati versus Georgia. And I mean, don't get me wrong, that was a damn hard fought game. I mean,
Yeah,
I literally thought Georgia was going to lose that game. And Georgia, got the ball back. They were trailing. And they hit that game winning field goal to take the lead, like 3-point lead. Even though it was a 3-point lead, I mean, a win's a win regardless. I mean, Cincinnati fought like hell and Georgia fought like hell. But in the end, I think Georgia's defense this year, which everybody's been bragging about, is this defense is elite. Better. I mean, we had a couple players that, that's the reason why the defense struggled a little bit in the first half. Most of the players were sick with the flu, like a little stomach bug. And then, Wyatt got hurt, which is one of the, top rated defensive linemen. And then our highly top, linebacker, uh, Smith, he got hurt, in a rugged hit. He got hit in the elbow. It was like kind of a crossfire as he was trying to pull out, and that's why he was on the ground for like 30 minutes. But that's the issue with Georgia. Georgia's fighting the injury bugs. Our redshirt freshman wide receiver broke a bone in his leg. But the good news is, and possibly, if not this game, Georgia Tech game, George Pickens, which is the number one highly recruited wide receiver in Georgia, he might come back, and Dominic Blaylock, which has been out since 2019, he might come back. So if we can get those boosts, I think we'll be all right.
yeah,
But I think Clemson took a blow because Justin Ross got hurt too.
yeah. I noticed from the stats, Shipley didn't play.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, they didn't put his stats on there.
Uh,
I feel like I saw him play, but he doesn't. They don't have anything on there right now for him. Right now,
Because
they
he's
have.
trash.
Huh?
Because he's trash.
Yeah, but yeah, Clemson. I was really happy they beat Connecticut, 44-7. I really feel like that's how it should have been.
Mm-hmm.
But DJ, it looks he's more or less 50-50 this game. Like a 50%, probably close to 50 percentile, a little less. He got 21 completions out of 44 attempts. Like, I guess, compared to the rest of the quarterbacks, that's pretty low. He got 241 yards, one touchdown, one interception. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, it looks like they had all the quarterbacks playing for Clemson at this moment in that game. So,
Yeah, just like, I mean, that's another, speaking of quarterback situation, that's how it is with Georgia. It was supposed to be JT Daniels' show. It's supposed to be his year, but him fighting that injury because how dirty Clemson cheap shotted him that one game. And then he started getting hit in rib injuries. Was fighting muscle pull injuries and stuff like that. And then Stetson Bennett back over, and this has been Stetson Bennett's show. He's led the team so far undefeated after JT Daniels went down. He came in as a walk on. Nobody really liked him because he wasn't really that good. Especially 2020. When he played against Alabama and all those teams, everybody was just doubting him. But this year, I think he's shutting everybody up because he's phenomenal when he's passing the ball. Maybe a little bit, his accuracy's off, but he's running the ball. He's shocking everybody when he runs the ball. His throwing's, working out a little bit. But I think Bennett's going to go out as a good quarterback that we're talking about. JT Daniels might transfer, but I don't think he will because, it's a crucial time and they need him. If Bennett was to go down, then it'll be all JT Daniels. So, I mean, we got a good quarterback battle brewing in Georgia.
Yeah, I found out. I don't mean to jump ship, but I found out one of the reasons compared to one of the, I guess, the stats. Clemson did not want to play Shipley in this game because it is top tier running back, and they didn't want him to take any unnecessary hits against them. So against Connecticut, so that's one of the reasons why they. I guess so far they said they didn't want him to. They want him ready for Week 12 for Wake Forest. So that's from my sources. That's what it is. They wanted him to play Week 12 against Wake Forest. That's an important game. So they didn't want to risk against Connecticut. Like no nothing. I guess they're not really bashing Connecticut at that moment, but they didn't want to use Shipley and then they risk injury from Shipley for so long for that. But I do.
Right.
So that's from my sources. That's what it was about it. But I would say that Clemson. I would say DJ did a great job against Connecticut compared to apples of quarterbacks to quarterbacks. I say he outdid Jack. So
I think the backup quarterback did a hell of a better than DJ because they were struggling against Cincinnati at the beginning until the backup quarterback came in, and then it was like boom, boom, boom. It was like that's when they started picking up, and then they put DJ back in, and then it was on a cruise ship from there. So, like I said, I ain't trying to jump ship either, but I want to talk about that Baylor versus Oklahoma game. That game was fucking unbelievable. I mean, you have Baylor coming in as 8-2 against Oklahoma, which is 9-1 or 9-0. Now they're 9-1. It was 27-14. That shocked the hell out of everybody, and then they were all talking. It's going to be upset weekend for everybody. Cincinnati. The main talk was always upset for Georgia versus Tennessee. You didn't really hear anything out of Oklahoma and Baylor, but Baylor's, it was for the quarterback. He had 12 completions, 21 yards, or 21 attempts, and 117 yards, 1 touchdown. As far as rushing, you had A. Smith at 20 yards, 20 carries, 148 yards, average of 7.4. So, I mean, it was just a pretty good game. The defense stopped them. Most of them was quarterback plays.
It seemed like it was a defensive game. It seems like the numbers for the stats from them are pretty low at this point. So, yeah, but rushing wasn't a factor for Oklahoma though. It was all dependent on their quarterback and their defense. So,
right. I mean, who knows? They always say, anybody can beat anybody. Just like you never know how Charleston Southern's going to come in. And it's a home game too this weekend. So, they might come in and shock the hell out of everybody in Georgia.
Yeah, like Charleston Southern is like I don't know, like it's they're a small school. We don't really hear a lot about them. It's kind of like comparing them to Coastal Carolina. Like look at Coastal Carolina this year. Like where'd they come from? they're the only South Carolina college team that I know of right now that is ranked. South Carolina is not ranked. Clemson's not ranked. Those are the two big schools compared to Coastal Carolina. Last time I noticed, they was ranked. So it kind of just makes you wonder if maybe, but I would say like Charleston Southern. It seems like I guess it depends. I wouldn't say. Can Charleston Southern win? Yes, but is it likely?
No.
I don't know.
That's what I think. Georgia, Tennessee may have scored 17, on Georgia, but Georgia's really been holding. Their defense has been holding everybody, but I don't think the probability. I think Georgia got like a 98.9% chance of winning against Charleston Southern, but I think it's going to be all defense, depending on if how if some of the defense players are sick, but I think it'll be all defense. So I mean, I don't know about how it's going to go. I don't think Georgia's going to have an issue with Georgia Tech either. The only team I'm really concerned about is Alabama because every year we face Alabama in the SEC championship, it always went Alabama's way. But I think this year might be different because Alabama's defense, is weak a little bit. I mean, they're good, but they had that whole 59-3 against New Mexico State. That was like a high school team, and everybody wants to brag about how they beat the hell out of them. But it was it was New Mexico State. It's like they're trash. Well, they're not trash, but they're barely even heard of. So of course it was gonna be an easy game. for Alabama, but I think Georgia can take Alabama in the SEC championship. It's just all based on how the defense plays.
Yeah, yeah, I went like I kind of like it's kind of like to the point where it's getting interesting now to the point where everything's changing. All the teams are doing different things. Like a lot of teams you wouldn't expect go up or going up, and then I guess it really depends on everybody pulls out. I would say Georgia's going to make it. Alabama, of course, is going to make it. Cincinnati's they're going to go up there, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't count out Oregon or Ohio State though, or even Notre Dame. So, but that depends on what they're doing. It depends on how State does this weekend, and so does Notre Dame to change that one up. So, yeah, because we're getting down to the wire of football. So we can on our last week and go ahead and pull out our picks of what we think is going to happen, prediction playoffs. So, yeah, but I really hope that. Basically, I believe the top 5 is set in stone right now. So, yeah, but yeah,
right. So I want to get into a little bit. I know like NFL, a shocker, that Rams lost, but I mean I'm not dissing Odell, but I don't know if that was a good choice because apparently after the game, or before the game, Odell Beckham decided to requested to be traded. Don't know what happened there. I guess he didn't fit in. I feel like he fit in, but they shouldn't have lost that game against the 49ers. Reality, they shouldn't have. But
yeah,
I was shocked when that happened because they were undefeated. Just like the the Las Vegas Raiders
yeah.
versus Kansas City, but Kansas City tore that ass up.
Well, I do say this: has Kansas City been struggling this year? Yes. Patrick Mahomes, he's been a lot of his games. He put up numbers, but he hasn't been putting up his numbers. This game to me, I watched this game. I was really impressed with him this time. Like I finally saw Patrick Mahomes we've been seeing for the past couple of years. Like he had 50 or 10, 35 completions, but he put up his 400 yards and 5 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Like think about all the other games. He's been tossed to interceptions. Like against some of these teams. Like I would say he was killing it this game. He was working hard. He's putting in the numbers against Las Vegas Raiders, and Las Vegas isn't a team to play around this year. Before when those Oakland Raiders, it seemed like everybody could play around with them. But now, since I don't know if it was the move to Las Vegas, but Las Vegas has not been messed around with. Carr. I've been pushing Carr for a long time. I'm just really impressed the way his quarterback. He got 261 yards, touchdowns this time, but he only got 1 interception. But I was saying that he put in his work, but it wasn't enough. He passed touchdowns, so I was really impressed with Patrick Mahomes. Like I was really happy to see Patrick Mahomes being Patrick Mahomes, But how about the the Falcons versus the Cowboys?
Yeah, that game was ridiculous.
They beat him by 40 points. That's definitely a blowout. Matt Ryan, he had no numbers. I may not be a quarterback, but he only got 17 yards and he only got 9. So he tossed 2 interceptions compared to, of course, Dak Prescott putting up 296 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. And his percentile that game was pretty solid. So that definitely was a definitely blowout game. You can't give all the credit to Dak Prescott. The running backs was killing it. Well, Dak Prescott scored a rushing touchdown, so Ezekiel Elliott he scored 2. So they put up some numbers. So that was definitely a good game for the Dallas. But then and also you have the Patriots versus the Browns.
That was basically almost a blowout. It was 24-7, I believe.
No, it was 45-7.
Or 45-7.
Yeah, well, Baker Mayfield, he was struggling. he only put up 73 yards. And compared to good old Mac Jones from Alabama, putting up 198 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So it kind of makes you wonder. He may be a rookie, but don't count him out.
Right.
So
So I mean, I want to talk some on the NFL subject. Cam Newton back with his team.
yeah, of course, that's a team that he came his first team in with. Like, I was really excited about the news, and look what happened. They win.
Right. His
But
first two touches was 2 touchdowns. So
now he only scored one touchdown in that game. But the thing about it, he got 3 completions out of 4 attempts, 8 yards. But it looks like they didn't let him play that much. But Walker put up the numbers that game. But so it was but it was all depending on the But he scored a touchdown. Cam Newton scored a touchdown. So like compared to the first string quarterback, scored 0 touchdowns. So
it's like he says, he's back. That's what he said.
yeah, his style and all was his clothes. Yeah, but that's a different day. But he also scored he also scored a rushing touchdown. So he just regular Cam Newton Auburn. So here we go with the rushing like scrambling quarterback. Another kind of like a Patrick Mahomes style. I can't compare both of them together because a little bit different. But what about this? What about this Steelers game? All right, this is the Detroit Lions. No offense, Detroit Lions are 0-8. Okay, compared to Steelers, they was at 5-3. Okay, and then 16-16. It's complete. It seemed like a full defensive game, but at the same time, you had Mason Rudolph. Ben was out, but Mason Rudolph put up some numbers. See, dog, he put him up. He only missed 20 of his attempts, so he put up his numbers. He got 42 yards, 1 touchdown. Like I've seen a couple of Big Ben this not a lot, but I would say it definitely had to be defense.
Right.
I wouldn't say it's Mason Rudolph's fault because he did his best when he had to do, and then so there was no touchdowns in rushing, so it was just straight. I would say it was just straight field goals all the way, and then only 1 touchdown thrown in the game. So I don't know. It was different. Tying the football is very rare, so I guess they just a bunch of overtimes, but. Titans beat the Saints, good old Titans at home. So they beat them 23-21. That was a great game. I definitely watched it. Yeah, that was a solid game. But I was really impressed with it. This Titans are putting some heat. Tanner Hill, he's doing great. I was impressed with him. He put up over 200-something yards. I'm impressed. So what am I to judge? So NFL definitely got interesting this year. So I would say for predictions I would say for NFL, Chiefs. To me, they're a toss up. Like I know it's kind of too early.
I mean, they already got they're in the
halfway
4th
mark
seed
of
anyway.
NFL season right now. We're the halfway mark. Chiefs, I'd probably say would go. Titans, they're going. So, yeah, you agree with that one, C-Dog? Titans going?
Yeah, I can see the Titans going. I mean, right now, like I said, I looked earlier and they said Kansas City's got the 4th seed for their end to go to the championship.
Yeah, that's it. That's just for the. I'm picking for the American football side. The national, definitely the Cowboys. Cardinals are going. Okay. The Rams definitely should go this year. Packers, and then probably the.
I always say the Patriots. The Patriots is probably the only threat to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I would definitely say the Buccaneers. They lost this game, but the Buccaneers have been struggling. They're not. It's not. They're right now. They're only currently, I believe, six wins. They're 6-3. So either way, they got 3 more wins than what they're. Tom Brady did Tom Brady things in that game. So, but I'm really impressed. I guess Taylor. So for the Washington, so I don't know about the Washington making it this time. They may beat the Buccaneers, defending champions, but at the same time, you have to put up more numbers during the game. But we're still only halfway through. So we're on week 11.
Right.
We're on week 11 right now of 18. So we still got a good bit of football to go.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. Well,
So I mean, so I want to know your prediction out of the SEC. I'm kind of not trying to get back into college.
all right.
Out of
Sport.
the SEC championship playoff.
Yeah. For the SEC, I would say that. Let's see their standings right now.
Well, no, I'm talking about for the SEC championship.
All right, Georgia. Okay, they're eight. You know, they're 8 on their conference. They're 10 overall. They're definitely going. I would say they're going to pull it out and win the championship. Of course, I feel like they're going to face Alabama. Like, no doubt about it. It's going to be Alabama and Georgia in the SEC championship. You know that this one's going to happen. Like, we all know it's going to happen. It's going to be Alabama, Georgia. But do I feel like Georgia will pull it out? I really hope so. But at the same time, Alabama does. They come up and they do different things. I know after the game that they lost Texas A&M, they started showing out. You know, they started winning, putting up numbers. They started winning, coming back, playing like Alabama does. But
Yeah, but I mean, not really.
But for the SEC side, for the SEC East side, Georgia definitely has that one. You know, so far no one's touching their numbers, and then on the West side, Mississippi, no, it's gonna be Alabama. That's my prediction for that one.
I mean, I predict because I was looking, they only have Georgia listed as a 3-point favorite in the SEC as an SEC championship. So they might win by 3 points, they might lose by 3 points. But I mean, I just honestly think Arkansas or Auburn can knock Alabama out. I don't know. We'll find out this weekend because Arkansas plays them. But every other team that they played besides Texas A&M, they only won by like 3 or 4 points. You look at LSU. LSU almost beat them, and that was only like 4 points. Tennessee almost beat them. Georgia, who was it? It was LSU, Mississippi. Mississippi State almost beat them. Florida almost beat them, and that was a 3-point game. Speaking of Florida, dude, let me tell you, they are trash. Like, they done fired their 2 defensive staffs. I think they should go ahead and get rid of Dan Mullen because, I mean, Florida just had a terrible year. Like, they may have beat the hell out of Sanford, but I mean, at Sanford, that's a nobody. It was like 70-52 or something like that.
Yeah, like for the ACC, putting up those numbers, I would say for Atlantic side, I don't know how the NCAA would put this between Wake Forest and Clemson because they face each other and that's going to determine the ACC Atlantic. But even if Clemson picks Wake Forest and the NCAA doesn't move or ACC don't want to move Wake Forest out of the number 1 spot for Atlantic, it's going to be Wake Forest and it's going to be automatically Pittsburgh. So it's going to be if they don't move anything from Clemson up to Wake Forest, it'll be my predictions for them will be Wake Forest and Pittsburgh for the ACC championship.
I don't think Clemson don't want to face Pittsburgh anyway because they got their ass whooped last time.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, well, maybe Clemson figures something out. They got Shipley back, so I don't think in the Pittsburgh game they even had Shipley. To be honest with you, I don't think they even had Shipley in the Pittsburgh game. So, and they've been holding off Shipley for Wake Forest games, so maybe put up numbers for that one. But that's definitely the ACC so far up to me, and the Big 12 lost to Baylor. I mean, Oklahoma lost to Baylor, so I don't know how it's going to work for that one. How do you feel like the Big 12?
I mean,
like Oklahoma lost to Baylor, but Oklahoma is still number 1, like still ranked in the top 12. They're still ranked number 1, but Oklahoma stays a 6. They're right now they're tied. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State 6-1 in their conference, and basically their stats are almost the same, except basically just the away games and win streaks.
Yeah, right? I think Oklahoma State can probably possibly beat Oklahoma.
Yeah,
beat them out at least.
Huh?
They can probably beat them out at least. It's depending on how the next 2 games go.
and especially it'll be a rivalry game, so it's going to be heat. There's going to be heat. So I feel like Oklahoma State can pull it out. Um, I don't know if Oklahoma. No, I don't know if Oklahoma State, Oklahoma already faced this year. I felt like they did, but at the same time, I don't. Yeah,
Yeah, they don't face each other until the 27th.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it'll be number 9 versus number 12. But
They're
I mean,
facing 27th. You're right. I had to go look at it real quick. So there's been a couple rivalry games this year. So I feel like Big Ten is going to be Ohio State. Yeah, it's Ohio State all the way for the Big Ten, and then you know.
mhm. So that's the thing too. I'm gonna try to get off the topic, but like I've been, have to look at this stuff and read. All these so-called like these trash talkers. Like I can't stand. Like they always say, and I know I get back on topic of Georgia. They say every time Georgia plays somebody, they say Georgia hasn't faced anybody. Georgia's schedule's been easy. Georgia has every top 25 team out of the damn conference. Georgia faced number 2, Clemson, beat the hell out of them. Well, not really beat the hell out of them, but it was like 10-7. But then Clemson started playing like shit. Then
Yeah,
played Arkansas. The next game was Arkansas was going to beat the hell out of Georgia. Destroyed Arkansas.
yeah,
Then beat, I want to say it was number 11 Auburn, or no, somebody was number 11. I forgot who it was. Beat Auburn. Beat the hell out of Auburn. Beat the hell out of Florida. Beat the hell out of South Carolina. So and I was just saying, this is Georgia's week. Georgia don't play nobody, but yet they beat the hell out of Tennessee. I mean, we took down the top teams in the SEC, and yet they're still trash. I wish they would stop that.
yeah, yeah. I would say Georgia's going to pull it out this year. I definitely love it, and yeah, I'll definitely say football is very interesting this year. I'm really excited for it this year. I know it's coming to an end, so I'm really sad. But for like I know we're talking about we're gonna have a good thing is we're gonna do a long podcast. I really like it though, but I know we're talking about football a lot, but I know we've been missing out on a lot of UFC. UFC has been doing great this year. I'm really excited. That was in Vegas, in the Apex this time. It was the Max Holloway. He put in some work, man. Yeah, I was really excited about it. I was really excited that Max Holloway put up his numbers. I believe that they combined for both. They had it to I'll go look at the stats real quick of it. Well, Max Holloway both totaled together in this fight of over significant strikes, 300 strikes itself, but it was awesome. Like, I really do say they did their best at it. Max Holloway pulled out. That was an awesome dog. Like it was blow to blow, backing up. It was amazing. Like, I'm really happy to witness this fight of Max Holloway because Max Holloway when he's fighting, it's going to be a big fight. There's going to be numbers put up for striking because he's like, to me, I feel like he's one of the best strikings. Like like in UFC, like they actually had it was Yair Rodriguez. Their combined strikes is the third most strikes in a single UFC fight. The total is 389. Total most strikes. See, dog. 389 strikes together combined. Episode of On Boys Forecast. This is continuing to our last episode. We had technical difficulties and it cut us off. I was in the middle of talking about UFC Vegas 42. Definitely, that was a definitely good fight between Max Holloway. So it's whenever by decision. So it was an awesome fight. They put up the third most strike numbers in UFC history right now. So that was an awesome fight. But it went over by decision versus Rodriguez. Rodriguez, he's been out for like I'll say 2 or 3 years. He's been on a hiatus of just like getting well and stuff like that. But he definitely didn't lose none of the stock at all. Like he hasn't fought for a while, but he put up a fight against Max Holloway. Max Holloway's been actively fighting. So you come after a couple of years off, you're automatically just fighting, putting up numbers like that against Max Holloway. You're doing pretty good. I would say his next go around in the next fight is going to be a W. I definitely would say that, Dog. So I'll definitely say that. Now, first is Ben Rothwell. He's a UFC veteran. In his last 3 bouts, he came out to be 2-1. Well, not this one. This doesn't count, but Marcos De Lima, he came out slinging, and Ben didn't have any chance at all in that fight. Like this was the co-main event of this recent in Vegas, so like Ben had no chance. Like I don't even know if I've probably been through a couple punches, but that was probably the best performance of Marcos' career. He dominated. He TKO'd KO TKO Ben Rothwell, the UFC veteran, in less than a minute. Dog. So
wow.
So Rothwell falls to 49-14. He moves to 19-8-1. So I would say he beat him at 32 seconds of round 1. So that's definitely awesome. TKO by strikes, man. So I would say, and then and also you say Spencer got the that was an awesome fight. So it all comes down to it. So Spencer locked up a late TKO in her fight. So it was a great fight. And I'll say that I'll go ahead and announce that you had Williams and Andrea Lee. They got the performance of the nights, and of course the Holloway fight, the main event, that definitely got fire of the night. Of course, that one, Holloway versus Rodriguez, that definitely goes. So Max Holloway puts up some numbers in this fight, Dog. Cass Williams, he did great against I don't want to butcher his name, but Biza. Yeah, but I would say Spencer, she's in that back-to-back win column. So it's definitely a good night, man. I talk much about you, but he did great against Julio Ayres. He it was before promoting a stoppage of the referee. He beat him at round number 2 at 135 round number 2. Definitely landed some kicks to the head. It was a great striking clinic for Young, but for Song Young, but that was great. But the prelims are awesome. We had a couple of guys coming from the Contender Series that came up, but sorry for technically earlier. I'll go ahead and finish it up. This is one of your hosts, Jolly J, and other host, Dog.
Y'all have a good night.
Peace.